The cry beneath the rusted dock. The sky was orange. Not like Earth's sunset, but heavy, strange, and silent. Rusted towers leaned like tired bones across the horizon. The old alien city was quiet, broken, and forgotten. David, a human explorer, walked carefully across the cracked metal path. His boots echoed in the silence. He had been sent to search this dead planet for lost tech. No life was expected here. No signals. No people. But then, he heard it. A sound. Not wind. Not machines. A cry. He stopped. The sound came again, soft and weak. A child? Or something worse? David turned and followed the sound. His hand rested on his sidearm. The path led him to an old dock. Rust covered every corner. A small stairway went down below. The crying grew clearer. He stepped down. Under the dock it was dark and cold. Bits of light came through the holes in the metal. Then he saw her. An alien woman. She sat against the wall, hugging two small children tightly. Her long cloak was torn. Her skin was a soft, silver blue. Her eyes, bright and glowing green, looked up at David. Her face was tired, her cheeks sunken. But she didn't look afraid. She whispered, "Are you human?" David nodded slowly. "Please," she said. Her voice cracked. "Take my children. Feed them. They have not eaten in 2 days." David was frozen. "What happened here?" The woman gently stroked the hair of one small child. The boy looked no older than 5, and the girl clutched a broken toy. Their eyes were full of fear and hunger. "There was war," she said. "My people lost. Some ran. Some died. I hid. We have been alone for weeks." David looked around. The air smelled of rust and death. He asked softly, "Why haven't you left?" She lowered her head. "No one will take me. I am shamed, marked." She turned her shoulder to show a burned symbol on her skin, a twisted shape, branded. "They say I failed. They say I should have died with my mate." David felt a strange ache in his chest. "Your mate?" She nodded. "He died protecting others. I ran. I survived. And for that, I was cursed." The children were shaking. The girl started to cry again. Soft, hopeless sounds. David knelt down and took out an emergency ration. He handed it to them. The children looked at him, then at their mother. She gave a small nod. They ate quickly as if afraid it might disappear. David spoke quietly. "You should come with me. There's a camp 3 miles north. We can get help." "No," she said. "They will not help me. I am nothing to them. My kind left me behind." David was silent. Then he asked, "What's your name?" "Malia," she said. "I'm David." She looked into his eyes. "David, will you take my children? You are not like them. You are human. Maybe you have heart." He stared at her. "I won't just take your kids and leave you here to die." Her eyes watered. She didn't cry, but her lips trembled. "Then you are a rare thing." David stood and reached his hand out. "Come, let's go together. You're not alone anymore." For a second, she didn't move. Then slowly, she took his hand. They walked out from under the dock. The light was dim. Malia carried her daughter, and David carried the boy. The city watched them in silence, metal ghosts hiding behind every wall. But something blinked in the shadows. Red light, unseen by them. A small drone floated behind broken pipes, watching, recording. Someone, somewhere, was watching this alien widow, and the human who dared to care. A home in the dust. David built a small camp beneath a collapsed sky bridge made of silver bones and bent steel. He set up a heat shield, rolled out blankets, and lit a survival lamp. The soft blue light chased away the shadows. Malaya sat close to the wall, holding her daughter tight. Her son leaned against David, eating slowly from another ration bar. His eyes no longer looked afraid, but not yet safe either. It was their first warm night in many weeks, but something still felt wrong. The city was too quiet. David glanced at the sky. Stars blinked through holes in the rusted dome above them. A world that once had life now had only whispers. Malia's voice broke the silence. "You risk much," she said. "Why?" David poked the fire with a broken pipe. "Because you're not junk. No one deserves to be thrown away." She looked at him with disbelief. "I was not always this way. Once, I had pride. My children laughed. My mate was a strong fighter. Now I beg a stranger under broken skies." David looked into her eyes. "You didn't beg. You asked for help. That's different." Malia turned her head away. "They don't think so. My own people said I'm cursed, that I carry the mark of failure. No one wants a widow with shame." David stood and walked to a nearby pipe, cracked open by time. Inside was dry space, perfect for sleeping. He brought more blankets and made soft beds for the kids. "Then we'll start our own people," he said. "One where no one throws away mothers." Her lips trembled, but she smiled. Just a little. Then the daughter spoke for the first time. "Is he our new father?" Malia gasped softly. David blinked. I'm just helping." But the boy whispered, "He's not yelling. Not hurting. That's good. He can stay." David gently patted the boy's head. "I'll stay as long as you want me to." That night, they all slept under the broken bridge. Malia kept one hand over her children's hearts. David kept his sidearm close, and above them, hidden in the high ruins, a red light blinked again. The drone, still watching, still recording. By morning, David had set up a small cooking device and boiled clean water. The kids played in the dust, their thin arms flapping like wings. For the first time, they laughed, just a little. Malia helped clean old metal pieces and stacked them to form a small wind-blocking wall. She worked silently but quickly, her fingers clever and skilled. David noticed. "You've done this before?" She nodded. "We had to move often during the war. My mate taught me how to build simple camps. He said a home is where the heart survives." David smiled. "Smart man." She looked away. "He died saving children that weren't his." There was a long silence. Then David said, "He would be proud. You didn't let their children die either." She blinked at him, eyes shining. Suddenly, a soft beep. David's datapad flashed. A signal? He opened the interface. It was weak, but it came from nearby, a strange code. Encrypted, not natural. He frowned. Someone sending something. Maybe watching us. Malia stood up fast. "They're here." "Who?" She pointed to the sky. "The ones who hate us. My people's hunters. They destroy what shames them. They burn families like mine." David's voice hardened. "They'll have to go through me first." Malia stared at him. "Why would you risk yourself for someone not your kind?" David looked at the children. They were drawing stars in the dirt with sticks. Then he looked back at her. "Because family isn't always by blood. Sometimes it's by choice." The mark of rejection. The wind howled through the bones of the ruined city like a wounded beast. David sat beside a crumbling wall, sharpening a piece of scrap metal into a knife. His eyes never left the shadows. Something out there was hunting them. He could feel it. Malia was silent that morning. She stood near the fire, head bowed, her cloak hanging loosely from her thin shoulders. The children were still asleep under a pile of blankets. David finally asked, "You said your own people left you. Why?" Malia didn't answer at first. Her hands trembled slightly as she warmed them near the flames. Then slowly she turned her back to him. "I'll show you." She pulled aside her cloak and lifted her tunic to reveal her upper back. Burned into her flesh was a deep, jagged mark, blackened, scarred, and still healing. David's eyes widened. What is that? Her voice was cold. It is called Soldra. It means failure to die with honor. He stepped closer. They did this to you? She nodded. After my mate died, I returned to our homeworld for shelter. I thought my children would be welcomed. Instead, they accused me. They said my survival shamed his sacrifice, that I should have died beside him. David's fists clenched. That's not shame. That's survival, Malaya whispered. To them, survival without glory is weakness. A mother who returns, without a mate, is seen as broken, useless. They burned the Soldra into me while I screamed, and then they threw us into the ashlands. David looked at her in disbelief. All because you lived? She turned around, tears in her eyes, but not falling. Because I protected my children. Because I ran. Because I loved. He sat beside her. Then you're stronger than any of them. She gave a bitter laugh. Strength? I can't even feed them. We hide in ruins. I begged you like a dog. No, he said. You fought. You endured. And you're still standing. Before she could speak, the little girl woke and ran over, hugging Malia's leg. Mama, the fire's warm today. Is it because he's here? Malia touched her daughter's head softly. Yes, my star. Maybe it is. Later, David moved to higher ground, searching for the source of the strange signal. As he climbed a rusted tower, the drone's red eye blinked again, hidden in a vent, silent and watching. But this time, it sent a pulse, a coded message. It read, Target located, widow marked, human confirmed, prepare extraction. And far above, in the orbit of the planet, something stirred. Back at camp, Malia sat alone. She reached into a pouch hidden in her cloak and pulled out a small crystal pendant. It glowed faintly, her mate's final gift. She remembered his voice. If anything happens to me, protect them. You're stronger than you think. She clutched the crystal tight. You were wrong, my love. I wasn't strong enough. I'm only alive because of a human. Then her daughter giggled nearby. Her son laughed, chasing a metal bug. Malia smiled softly. Maybe she was strong. Maybe surviving was enough. When David returned, he looked grim. What is it? She asked. Someone's watching. I'm sure of it now. Not just a signal, it's a drone. Hidden, tracking us. Her smile faded. They're coming, she said. Yes, he nodded. And I think they want you dead. The city that hates, the weak. The wind carried voices. David heard them before he saw them. Low whispers. Angry words. Sharp clicks in an alien tongue. He crouched on the rooftop of a half-destroyed building, looking down through broken glass. Below him, in the heart of the ruined city, lights were flickering back on. The city was waking, and it wasn't welcoming. It had been 2 days since David found Malia and her children under the rusted dock. Since then, he had kept them moving, sleeping in different places each night. But rations were running low. The kids were getting weaker. He had no choice. They needed food, medicine, help. And that meant going to the outpost. The old alien city's trading center was still active. Not much, but enough for travelers, smugglers, and scavengers to pass through. David remembered passing it once during his first survey mission, but this time he wasn't alone. David helped Malia cover the Soldra mark with cloth and soot. Her face was hidden under a hood. The children wore old robes to hide their alien features. Stay close, he whispered. Let me do the talking. Malia nodded, her expression unreadable. As they stepped into the marketplace, heads turned. Humans were rare here, but not unknown. What caught the crowd's attention wasn't David. It was the way he walked, with a woman and 2 small children by his side. People began to whisper. David approached a stall where a tall, yellow-skinned alien sold nutrient packs. He placed a silver coin down. Food. Medicine. Fast. The trader squinted at him. You brought one of them? David stayed calm. They're with me. The trader leaned closer. You don't know what she is, do you? She's a widow, a cursed one, Soldra. David's jaw tightened. She has children, she needs help. She needs to vanish, the trader snapped. You protect her? You bring trouble to this place. Around them, more traders were watching. One spat near Malia's feet, another growled. Death follows her kind. The crowd thickened. Tall alien with glowing red skin stepped forward. His armor was sharp and black. I know her, he said. She was part of the failed battalion, the one that fled. My brother died while she ran. David stepped in front of Malia. Back off, the alien sneered. You protect a disgrace, you shame your own kind now. I don't care about your shame, she's not your enemy. The soldier grabbed his weapon. She is everyone's enemy. David pulled out his pistol, and suddenly, the whole market froze. A single human, one gun, facing 10, maybe 20. But he didn't step back. He looked around slowly. Anyone else want to try? For a few tense seconds, no one moved. Then a voice called from the side. An old merchant, hunched and blind in one eye, laughed softly. You're a fool, human, but brave. The merchant threw a small bag of supplies at David's feet. Take it, leave now, before this place decides you're worth burning too. David grabbed the bag and turned. Let's go. Malia said nothing, her eyes locked on the ground. But as they walked away, a tear slid down her cheek, not from fear, from humiliation. Once outside the city wall, David set up camp near a dry stream bed. The children slept quickly, too tired to ask questions. Malia sat alone, staring at the sky. They hate me, she said. They don't know you, David replied. They don't want to. In their eyes, I am worse than dead. I am the mother who returned. He sat beside her. You are the mother who survived. That makes you stronger than them. She looked at him. You could have left. They would have welcomed you. He shook his head. Then I don't want their welcome. For the first time, Malia leaned her head on his shoulder. You are strange, human, she whispered. But you feel like home. Far above, in orbit, a black ship moved into position. The drone signal had been received. The hunters were coming. The lonely stars know her truth. The stars above were quiet, but Malia was not. She sat awake beside the fire while David and the children slept, her eyes fixed on the sky. A small glowing crystal spun between her fingers. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. She had told David part of her story, but not everything. Not the secret buried beneath her scars. Not the reason they truly branded her. That night, the desert wind grew colder. David woke to the sound of Malia's quiet voice. David, she whispered, sitting beside him, her knees drawn close to her chest. He sat up slowly. Can't sleep? I need to tell you the rest. He nodded, giving her space. She looked at the children, sleeping peacefully. You know they marked me as a coward, a failed widow. David nodded. But that's not the real reason they hate me. He looked at her, waiting. I disobeyed a sacred order. During the final battle, my commander told us to leave the young behind. Said they would slow us down, that it was mercy to let the fire take them. Her hands trembled as she spoke. I refused. I took 5 children and ran through the burning city. My mate stayed behind to hold the line. He died so I could save them. But by the time I returned to our people, only 2 children had survived. Her voice cracked. They said I was a traitor, that I broke command, that I ran not for duty, but for weakness. David's fists clenched. You saved lives. They don't care. To them, obeying orders is everything. Mercy is weakness. David looked up at the stars. Then their laws are broken. There was a long silence. Then Malia pulled the small crystal from her pocket. "This holds his final message," she said. "My mate's voice." David's eyes widened. "You've never listened to it?" She shook her head. "I was afraid it would hurt more. Afraid it would prove I failed him." David gently took the crystal and placed it on the stone between them. "Let's listen together." She nodded. He pressed the center. The crystal glowed bright. Then a voice, calm and steady, filled the night. "My heart, if you hear this, then I've gone. And that's all right." Malia gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "You did right. You always do. Take the children. Protect them. If they call you weak, let them. Because you are not. You are more. You are what our people should be." Tears ran down her face. "Raise them with love. Live, Malia. Don't let them bury your fire. I believe in you." The crystal dimmed. Silence returned. David looked at her, but she didn't speak. Just wept silently under the starlight, her body shaking, her breath uneven. David placed a hand over hers. "You didn't fail him," he said. "You honored him. In the best way possible, you lived." The next morning, Malia was different, stronger. She stood tall, spoke with calm confidence. Even the children noticed. "You look brighter, Mama," the boy said. Malia smiled gently. "I remembered who I am." But the peace didn't last. Just before midday, David's pad blinked again. A signal. No mistaking it this time. 3. Ships, approaching fast. Black banners, no government codes, hunters. Malia's face went pale. "They've come for me." David grabbed his gear. "Then we won't let them take you." She grabbed his arm. "You could run, take the children." He looked into her eyes. "We run together, or we fight together." That night, under the cold light of twin moons, they packed and moved again. Deeper into the canyons where the rocks whispered old secrets and shadows stretched like claws. But overhead, the hunter ships circled. Waiting. The ones who hunt. The canyon was quiet, but it was not safe. Red lights blinked on the cliffs above, barely visible in the dust and dusk. 3 hunter ships hovered like silent birds of prey. Somewhere in the dark, soldiers were landing. Malia stood with her back to the stone wall, clutching her daughter tightly. David crouched nearby, holding his rifle steady. The boy hid behind, a crate of broken tech. "We don't have much time," David whispered. "They're closing in." Malia's voice was calm. "Then we stand." He looked at her, really looked. She was no longer the broken widow he met under that rusted dock. Her shoulders were straight, her jaw firm, her glowing green eyes fierce. "They will offer you a deal," she said. "Turn me in and they'll let you go." David snorted. "Then they don't know me." Far above, the hunter commander stood at the edge of a cliff, scanning the canyon through his helmet visor. His armor was sleek black, trimmed with silver. The mark of the High Enforcers blazed on his shoulder. He spoke into his comms. Target confirmed. Widow Malia. Children alive. Human interference detected. A soldier asked, "Permission to eliminate?" The commander paused. "No. The human is valuable. Brave. Predictable. If he stands with her, he'll bring her in himself." Below, David activated a signal jammer, hoping to block drone feeds. "We need to move soon. We can't win if they catch us in the open." Malia stepped forward and pulled a small chip from her cloak. "I still have one last command link," she said. "It controls a hidden pulse mine buried near the canyon entrance." David raised an eyebrow. "You planned for this?" She gave a small smile. "I stopped waiting to be rescued." Minutes later, footsteps echoed through the stone passage. The first squad of hunters came, 6 armored aliens, weapons raised, slow and steady. They moved like wolves. David and Malia waited in the shadows, holding their breath. Then, Malia pressed the trigger. Boom! A wave of orange light exploded at the canyon mouth. Rocks collapsed. Dust flew. 2 hunters vanished under falling stone. David yelled, "Go, now!" They ran through a side tunnel, the children close behind. David fired once, twice, covering their retreat. Malia led them to a hidden passage beneath a large boulder. Inside was a small chamber. Dark, safe, silent. For now. The girl whimpered. "Mama, I'm scared." Malia knelt down, cupped her face gently. "I know, starling. But fear is not weakness. It means your heart still hopes." David slid down the wall, breathing hard. "They'll find us again." That blast slowed them, but not for long. Malia nodded. "Then we fight. Together." David looked at her. "There's something you should know." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a beacon. "This is a human distress signal. I've had it for weeks. I didn't use it because I didn't want attention, but now..." He clicked it. A soft red light blinked. "Now I want them to come." Malia's eyes widened. "You called your people?" David smirked. "Let's see how these hunters handle my kind." Far away in orbit, a human patrol ship picked up the signal. Code Red, Field Agent David Black requesting backup. Alien, civilians in danger, hostiles present. The response came instantly. Reinforcements en route. ETA. 14 minutes. Back in the canyon, the hunters gathered at the tunnel entrance. The commander raised his hand. "Alive if possible. Dead if needed. Bring me the widow." But just as they entered the tunnel, the air cracked. Boom, boom, boom. Streaks of blue light cut the sky. Drop pods. Human drop pods. They slammed into the ground like thunder. From them emerged armored human soldiers, weapons humming, visors glowing. The commander hissed, "Humans." And then the battle began. The vow beneath alien skies. The ground shook. Dust exploded into the air. Blue light filled the sky as the human drop pods landed all around the canyon, kicking up clouds of rock and wind. The silence of the dead planet was shattered. David stood, at the tunnel entrance, rifle ready, staring down the canyon slope. Malia stood beside him, her cloak blowing in the wind. Her children clung to her legs, wide-eyed, too scared to cry. Behind them, human soldiers dropped to one knee, forming lines, heavy boots, advanced rifles. Human eyes, full of purpose. No one spoke. The hunters arrived. Black-armored, fast, ruthless. The high enforcers of Malia's world charged in formation, weapons glowing with cruel light. At their front stood the commander, helmet gleaming, voice booming across the canyon walls. "Give her to us, human. The widow broke sacred law. She is ours. This is your last chance." David didn't flinch. "She is with me now," he called out, "and so are her children." The alien commander stepped forward. "She is a traitor, a failure. Her blood is cursed. Why fight for something broken?" David lifted his rifle. "Because I believe in things your kind can't understand. Mercy, loyalty, family." The human squad commander stepped beside David. "Our orders are clear. Civilians under protection. You attack them, you start a war." The alien commander didn't care. He raised his hand and shouted, "Fire!" The battle exploded. Red and blue lights ripped through the air. Soldiers clashed in fire and screams. The canyon echoed with thunder. Human drop pods exploded. Hunter drones screamed overhead. A human mech fired back, sending alien bodies flying. David ducked and rolled, blasting 2 hunter soldiers with clean shots. His side burned. He'd taken a graze, but he pushed forward. "Malia, run. Stay with the squad." But Malia didn't run. She had picked up a plasma blade from the ground. Her eyes burned with rage and purpose. For the first time, she stepped into the fight. "You took everything from me," she whispered. Then she charged. The alien commander saw her coming. He turned, blocking her swing with his metal staff. Their blades sparked, lighting up their faces. In the chaos, "I should have ended you years ago," he growled. "You should have feared me years ago," she hissed back. They fought hard, strike after strike. Malia wasn't as strong as him, but she was faster, smarter, and full of fire. She ducked under his swing and stabbed, cutting his side. He roared and grabbed her throat. But before he could crush it, bang! A shot rang out. The commander froze. Blood spilled from his chest. Behind him stood David, rifle smoking. "She belongs with her children," he said. The alien commander collapsed. The hunters saw their leader fall. Their lines broke. Some fought on, others fled. The human soldiers pushed forward, clearing the canyon within minutes, and then silence. Smoke rose. Bodies lay still, and the stars above blinked once more. David dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Malia stumbled beside him, blood on her hands, but none of it hers. He looked at her. "You okay?" She nodded, shaking. "You came back for us." "Always," he said. Then her daughter ran to them, sobbing, "Mama, David, you're not dead." He pulled them both into a hug. Hours passed. Medical units landed. Wounded were treated. Supplies were handed out. The canyon felt like a different place now, less haunted, more alive. David stood at the edge of the hill with Malia. She wore a new cloak now, one given by the human commander. It had no shame marks, only the symbol of a survivor. A ship hovered nearby, ready to take them to a human colony world, a new home. David turned to her. "You don't have to come with me. The humans can find you a place." Malia looked at him long and deep. "I don't want a place. I want you." He blinked. Her hand found his. "My people cast me out. Yours gave me a second chance. But it was you. You who treated me like more than dirt, like a person, like a mother, like a mate." The children stood nearby, holding each other's hands. David stepped forward. "I want to be their father," he said quietly. She looked up at him, eyes wide. "And your partner," he added, "if you'll have me." Tears shimmered in her eyes. "I would be honored." She pulled him close, and for the first time since her mate's death, Malia kissed someone, not out of fear or desperation, but out of hope. As the ship lifted into the alien sky, carrying them toward a new life, the children looked out the window with wonder. Malia sat beside David, her head on his shoulder. "Do you still think I'm broken?" she asked softly. He smiled. "No, you were never broken," she smiled back. "Then I'll start healing now." And for the first time, she believed it.